This month, I've had the privilege of welcoming two groups of South Dakota veterans to Washington during honor flight visits. I went simply to say hello and to thank these men and women for their service to our country. This is something I've done for many years, and it is always an occasion that inspires me and makes me grateful to be an American and an heir to what they fought for. After one of these groups of veterans returned home to South Dakota, KELOLAND News reported on their visit. And a quote from one Vietnam veteran in that story struck me. He said, and I quote, "I'm no hero. The heroes are the ones that didn't get to come back and have families, didn't get to become grandparents. They're the heroes," end quote. Well, Mr. President, this is a common sentiment among veterans. I know my dad, a World War II veteran, never talked much about himself. It was always about the men he served with, especially those who didn't come back. But no matter how many times I hear this, it always stops me in my tracks, because it reminds me that we ask those who serve our country to be willing to sacrifice everything, their entire future and all that it could hold. And many, many Americans have given their lives to defend our security, liberty, and peace. This Monday on Memorial Day, we honor the men and women who sacrificed everything in service to our country. We remember their heroism and courage, and we take inspiration from their commitment to the ideals upon which our country is founded. Mr. President, this year marks 80 years since the end of World War II. Millions of Americans served in the military during the war, and more than 400,000 Americans died. Among these were about 1,700 South Dakotans. Men like Captain Arlo Olson of Toronto, South Dakota, who was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his bravery in advancing through Italy, and who was killed there in 1943. He was 25 years old. Lieutenant Earl Ferguson from Phillip, who died when his B-24 bomber was shot down while targeting an oil field in Romania. He was 26. And Private Glenn Dow from Sioux Falls, who was killed on Omaha Beach on D-Day. Private Dow was 19. Mr. President, these men gave their entire lives to defend our freedom and secure peace for us. They entrusted to us the future that they would not see themselves. And they call on us to defend the peace they won. In one of his Memorial Day proclamations, President Reagan wrote, and I quote, "The defense of peace, like the defense of liberty, requires more than lip service. It requires vigilance, military strength, and the willingness to take risks and make sacrifices," end quote. And then he continued, and I quote again, "The surest guarantor of both peace and liberty is our unflinching resolve to defend that which has been purchased for us by our fallen heroes," end quote. Mr. President, on Memorial Day, we remember that our freedom has come at a cost, and we recognize that it is on us to live up to the ideals for which generations of Americans have been willing to give their lives. These are American heroes, and we are a grateful nation.